We also have been saying endlessly, everybody, that Joe Rogan should be hosting some kind of political debate because we trust him and we know he's going to give us straightforward responses and answers and try and be fair in this breakdown. Well, now Tulsi Gabbard is joining the Trump transition team and will be a part of his administration. And the rumors are that Joe Rogan will be hosting Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The question I have is, while the media keeps making these claims, Joe ain't said nothing. So I can only imagine Joe's like sitting back, he's working out, smoking a cigar, playing pool or something. And then someone hits him up, be like, hey, Joe, are you doing this? He's like, bro, I have no idea what you're
are
talking
these crazy saying? I don't even know. I can totally hear it.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to his booker being like, what did you promise these people? I mean, it is interesting that theoretically this could just be social pressure, because there was a backlash when he said, I'm not going to have Donald Trump on. I think he made a statement basically saying he didn't want to delve into it. And there were a lot of Trump people who had a very strong reaction to it.
I mean, go ahead.
I don't think this is going to happen for two reasons. The first is that Joe, as Tim said, never endorsed this. It's one of those things where this is just the public doing what the public does and making up jabberings that they want to hear. The public just says crap, and 90% of it never happens. And secondly, Kamala's team would never put her on a podcast with Joe Rogan because she lacks the verbal ability to look good. Kamala, I don't think she's a completely stupid person. Her verbal ability is not very good, though. And so in a podcast like Joe Rogan, which is not, even if Joe tried to be very friendly to her, his framing is not friendly enough to her. And it would just make her look very, very bad. And her team knows that. And they're very risk averse in their strategy.
Yeah, it is fascinating. But I think I love the way you explained it. The jabberings of the public, they just say things that never happen. That is true, isn't it? The people go on TV. I mean, even me, I'll be on here and I'll be like, here's what I think. And then how much of this stuff actually happens? How exciting is real life? But come on, we got to be hopeful, right? I mean, you're right.
I mean,
Kamala Harris's team would be insane to put her on Joe Rogan.
I am hoping they put her on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, her polls will drop 10 points overnight if she goes on Rogan's show. But here's the issue. Donald Trump said on the Nelk Boys podcast that, I don't know if he said definitively he is doing it. He says, I think we are doing it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said it.
And I wonder if his team has just been talking with Joe saying like, hey, come on, like, we're going to do this. Because I think Joe mentioned at one point he'd be really interested to have that conversation. He did intimate a possibility or an interest. Kamala Harris would have no choice but to go on his show. If Trump goes on Rogan, which is Everest of public, I mean, look, man, I said it before. Joe often says he's just some dumb guy, but he's a really, really great interviewer, and he's inquisitive. So he's not going to sit there and let you speak BS, and that's why people trust him, and that's why people have been saying we want a Joe Rogan moderated debate. Trump's got no problem doing this. Joe can sit there and say to Trump, what about this, that, and otherwise? And Trump is going to bounce, deflect, and answer the questions with no problem. But Kamala can't do that. How can she? I don't see a path forward if Trump, and this is what Rogan said last time, he doesn't want to help Trump. If Trump goes on Rogan, Kamala, it's over.
Yeah, I do think that Kamala Harris can't do can't handle 2 or 3 hours with Joe Rogan talking. She's really bad when she has to ad lib when she's off teleprompter, like significantly bad. I don't see her wanting to sit down. It does make sense if she were competent, because that would be the forum to attract male voters, which is where she's lagging significantly. But the risk of putting her in front of Joe Rogan is far too high. I mean, the same Joe Rogan that Michael Malice was sitting across and said that if you mock her, it's ableist because she's a retard.
I sit in that chair.
I'll go.
I was just gonna say, I think that the challenge is the personality mesh, right? And what the person is comfortable doing. And we know that Trump is just generally a more comfortable speaker. He's comfortable speaking in small groups, one-on-one, at rallies, and she doesn't seem to have that. I don't know how many of you, I mean, you probably all watched the Elon Musk appearance on Joe Rogan all those years ago, but Elon Musk is sort of an unusual personality, right? Like he's a little quieter and things like that. And I remember watching that interview, and it really was a little bit on Rogan to draw him out. But that was with someone who felt as though he wanted to be there and
a joint.
Right, that was kind of funny. But like ultimately have this like conversation about these bigger issues. And I think Donald Trump is fine with that. And he probably doesn't need any coaxing. Even if Joe Rogan wasn't aggressive towards Kamala Harris in any way, I think she would always be in politician mode and she would never shift into the authentic conversation that Joe Rogan's audience, look for when they're listening to his podcast.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.